I'm Nancy Showalter, and you're listening to Spirituality for the Politically Incorrect podcast. Welcome, all radical paradigm shifters and creative change makers. You who dare to create a better life and a better world. Tap into the power that resides within you and use that power for constructive change. Hello and welcome to today's episode where I want to talk about something that sits right at the intersection of spirituality, science, and our everyday lived experience. Something that, once you see it, changes the way you understand your body, your healing, and even your spiritual path. It's a simple but very deep idea. God works through biology. Most of us were taught, either by religion or by modern spirituality, that the body's something we're supposed to rise above. That it's either sinful, broken, or just temporary, and therefore not very important. And yet, the more I've studied consciousness, healing, and spirituality and the way life actually works, the more I've come to see that the body isn't in the way of the soul at all. The body is how the soul expresses itself here. Think about how you experience life. You don't experience love in some abstract spiritual cloud. You feel it in your heart, in your chest, in your nervous system. You don't experience fear as a theory either. You feel it in your stomach, in your muscles, in your breath. Your entire inner world is being translated into physical sensation through biology. That's not a flaw, it's a design. And from a spiritual perspective, your body isn't just something you're riding around in the way you drive a car and then step out of it. It's actually the physical expression of your consciousness itself. Yes, you inherit certain traits from your parents, but you also bring into this lifetime the imprint of your own soul, your experiences, your patterns, your lessons, both the light and the unfinished pieces from the past. All of that shows up in your physical form in subtle and not so subtle ways. And even though the soul eventually leaves the body at the end of a lifetime, the body is still one of the four vehicles the soul uses here. The physical, along with the mental, emotional, and memory levels to experience, learn, and evolve in the physical world. Your body isn't separate from your spiritual journey. It's woven into it. And this is why healing the body changes so much more than just how you feel physically. Have you ever noticed how when someone finally starts to feel better, when their pain eases, when the energy returns, or when your inflammation goes down, they don't just feel better in their body, they become a different person. They're calmer, they're more patient, they think more clearly, they feel more hopeful, they're more open to love, to God, to life itself. Health is so important, and that's because consciousness rides on biology. A nervous system that is constantly inflamed or exhausted can't easily hold peace. A brain that's overloaded with stress hormones struggles to access higher awareness. We often try to meditate our way into enlightenment while our cells are still in survival mode. And that's not how we were designed to work. I want to share something personal here because this isn't just theory for me. I've always prioritized my own health and the health of my family, not only because it makes practical sense, but because I've always understood it spiritually. When your body is struggling, when you're exhausted, inflamed, in pain, or depleted, it becomes much harder to stay connected to the God within you. It's not that God isn't there. It's that the instrument you're using to feel and express that connection is under strain. And I've seen it over and over again in my own life and in the lives of others, that when the body is supported, the spiritual connection becomes clearer, stronger, and more stable. And of course, there are many physical practices and healing modalities you can do that help clear and cleanse the physical body, with the main one being fasting. But there's also practices such as yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, numerous others. Basically, your body is designed to heal, to regenerate, to restore balance, to come back into harmony when it's given the right support. That intelligence didn't come from a lab. It came from the same source that created everything else in nature. Every time a cut closes, a bone heals, or inflammation resolves, you're watching divine intelligence in action. And what's fascinating is that science is now catching up to what spiritual law has always said, that the body responds not just to chemicals, but to light, to energy, to information, to signaling. Our cells are not dumb. They're communicators. They're listening all the time, and they're responding to what we give them. That's why I find it so exciting that there are now gentle, non-invasive technologies emerging that don't try to force the body to heal, but instead remind it how. Instead of overriding the system, they work with the body's own regenerative intelligence. And that, to me, feels deeply aligned with how God works. Not through force, but through awakening what's already there. If this way of looking at the body and healing resonates with you, I just want you to know that you don't have to struggle or push your way into health. Your body already knows what to do. Sometimes it just needs the right kind of support. And if you're curious to explore that more, which I certainly understand because this is how I've lived my life, I've made information available at my website on something that my husband and I have found to be incredibly supportive to our physical well-being, which again opens up greater connection spiritually. Check it out if you have any interest, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. It's at lifewave.com/Nancy Roses. The link is in the text. There you'll find resources for people who feel called to support their physical body as part of their spiritual journey. Because the truth is, you're not a soul trapped in a body. You are a soul expressing itself through a living, intelligent, biological temple. And when your biology begins to heal and regenerate, your consciousness naturally rises with it. That's not an accident. That's how God designed it. Have a wonderful day. See you next time. Thank you for being with me today, and if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, download, and comment. I'd love to hear from you, and your support is much appreciated. And don't forget to go to theawakeningnow.com for free bonuses and information on my new book, You Were Born to Be a Christ, but You Were Taught You Are a Sinner. Awaken to who you really are. See you next week.